What's up, guys, and welcome to Truth with Tara. I'm Tara Simon, and today I have Mr. Geoff Castellucci of VoicePlay on with us today, and we're going to be talking a cappella. We're going to be talking about the process of VoicePlay, how it started, what Geoff's vision is for the future, and all of it. So thank you so much for joining, Geoff. I'm so excited to have you on today.
I am happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
And I have to say, you sound just like you sing, which isn't always the case in singers, but it's just like, wow, your voice has such a presence. Have you always sounded like this, or was it like after puberty?
Well, that would have been crazy if I, as like a 4-year-old, Mom. So
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah.
You've always sounded like this. Give me some milk.
More cookies, please. No, I was kind of a late bloomer. So,
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I kind of came into my lower voice later in life than most.
Really? Mm-hmm. Like what age do you think, if you can remember?
I'm going to say maybe like 15 or 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have that really awkward, cracky period,
I never did. I think there are some guys that just like wake up one morning and their voice, it's changed.
Yeah,
Mine was more of a gradual shift. So I never really had the cracky, squeaky stuff happening. Mercifully.
When was it that you, truly mercifully, when was it that you noticed, like, oh, dang, I can sing super low?
I'm going to date myself here a little bit. There was a song that was on the radio. Now, radio alone should date me a little bit. But
It's fine.
Yeah. There was a song by the Crash Test Dummies called Remember that song?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, no, I don't. I'm not dating myself with you. I have no idea what you're talking about.
And I could sing along with that. And I was like, well, he's got a really low voice, so maybe I've got a low voice too. And then I used to like sing along with the bass lines of like pop songs and rock songs in the car.
Okay.
And things like that. So yeah, that's kind of how I discovered it. And then when I was always in chorus in school. And so they just, you sound like you have a low voice, so go sit with the basses.
Right.
And then that's kind of how it worked. But I sang tenor because everybody wanted to be a bass. But
really?
Oh, yeah. All the guys want to be bass. They all want to sing lower. So there were never enough tenors. So I was like, well, I can sing tenor. So I did that too.
Wow. Yeah, You do have a very extensive range. And I think from what I've read, you have a B0 to an A5 or A sharp 5?
Yeah, I mean, I would qualify that with like, those are extremes,
Yes.
You wouldn't ask like a sprinter to run their fastest all the time.
Correct.
So it's kind of the same thing. Like I would whatever range you've seen published online, probably shrink that by an octave, and that's what's like usable,
singable.
Right.
Yeah.
Comfortably.
But
singable.
When you talk about range classification and actual note versus the other pendulum on the other side of the note, I would say that as long as it's like, okay, give Tim Storm for an example. He's said to have like the lowest male voice in the world,
Sure.
right? But I've listened to him, and yes, his notes are clearly low, and you can hear tonality. But at his very lowest, I, as even a vocal coach, struggle to hear the tonality in the note.
Yeah, you need the context surrounding his voice to give you the note. And if he's just singing acoustically with no accompaniment, it's like
it's a growl.
It's like I believe you, but I don't really hear it. I feel you.
Right.
I feel you on that.
And I feel like, is it me? Is everyone else hearing it? And I'm just not. So there is a point in extreme ranges where the context is lost. And so I get what you're saying, but I feel that if you're able to, even if it's not in notes that you would sing, as long as you can hear the context of the note and you're able to get it out, I do say I would count that.
Yeah.
But like, for instance, in my lessons with singers, I would never assign a song to a student at the top or the very bottom of their range. I back it in at least 2 whole steps.
For sure.
Yeah. And those are singable notes.
Yeah. Definitely.
So,
and the thing about Tim that's so fascinating is while he does tend to it starts to get real gravelly towards the bottom of his range, but he has such spectacular control over a part of the human voice that I've never seen anybody have control over like that before.
It is
Like it's
quite
so
extraordinary.
weird.
Yeah. And his mouth, he's not even really affecting it with facial expressions or like jaw manipulation. There's like a little bit of like forwardness to it, but he's not doing anything like anatomically crazy to get those notes out. It is very much like
Just big,
built into
big
his
deep
larynx.
breath, and then
Yeah.
let it fly.
And something that I found too, I was recently listening to him, and I found that like that kind of da, 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 it's almost like you can hear the speed of
Right, you
the
can hear the
vocal
sine wave.
folds.
Whoop, 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 whoop,
Yes.
whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yes, exactly. And that to me is where I lose the context of the actual pitch, because they're
Correct.
slowing down so much to
Yeah.
make those low end notes.
Yeah, he's singing
But
like
I'm
2 hertz or something. It's ridiculous.
yeah, it is ridiculous. But I mean, your range is absolutely incredible, and what I appreciate so much about you is also your control, your timbre. I'm sure you've seen the reactions I've done of your stuff, and one of the things I comment on a lot is how when you reach a certain note, and I'm not sure which one it is, but when you reach a certain note, the tonality and the timbre of your voice changes, and it gets even deeper, even richer, even thicker. And it's so beautiful to listen to.
Thank you. Some of that is intentional. Like I feel like I kind of compress myself when I sing. So I know when I'm approaching a lower, like if I'm singing a lower song,
Yeah.
I will try to keep the higher notes at the same volume as I'm capable of hitting the lower notes, which is probably why it sounds like that. And I'm not a
Is there a reason?
I'm not a.
Why do you do that?
It's my preference.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not an especially loud singer, so
Right.
especially in those lower ranges, it makes it more. I think it's maybe easier to edit in post when I don't have
You're
to
right.
like squish, compress
Yes.
everything to death. So that
That's
might
true.
be a reason why it sounds like that. The other thing is that my mix engineer, Ed Boyer, is basically like he's a witch. I don't know how he does the stuff that he does.
Wow.
Yeah, I've
And
mentioned
have you
this
been using him forever?
for a long time. Yeah, Ed.
Yeah.
Ed Boyer. Shout out Ed, wherever you are. High five.
Hey, Ed.
He's
Yes.
the man.
Awesome work.
Yeah, he's super good.
Okay. So I have a question, Geoff, and I think that this is a question a lot of VoicePlay fans would want to know. Like, what is it that makes a VoicePlay cover a VoicePlay cover? So in other words, like, what are the unique aspects that you guys do to make the song your own? And do you use what you know about the singer's attributes within VoicePlay to come together and help create that dynamic, or do you choose this? Is it more song and then the singers get in where they fit in? Like, how do you make a VoicePlay cover a VoicePlay cover?
Yeah, that's a good question. Something we struggle with a lot is song choice. We've discovered over time that song choice is like the most important thing. So
Yeah.
if we choose a song, then, well, because there's only 4 of us currently, 4 full-time members
Right.
at the moment, we have the luxury of kind of like hand-picking who we think in our little circle of singers is
Yeah.
going to best fit that song.
Okay.
So we have that luxury, and then once
Yeah.
we've picked our collaborator, it's just about backfilling wherever our own singers are going to go. Like, where's Caesar going to sing? Where's Ellie going to sing? Where's
Right.
Geoff going to sing? Is Lane going to bless us with a solo in this one?
Right.
So from
right.
from that perspective, we have a little bit more wiggle room, because a lot of other a cappella groups are like, there's the 5 or 6 people, and then that's that.
Yes.
So because we get to swap people in and out, we have a little bit of an advantage for that. But then as far as like the arrangement itself, it all just depends on who's heading up the project. A lot of people may not know that for every video, for every song that we do, there's usually one of us in charge of the whole project. So it'll either be Lane
Oh.
or Ellie or myself, and we'll arrange, produce, edit, to a certain extent mix. Final mix always goes to Ed.
Okay.
Film, edit the video, we do it all. So it's all about like, what's the vision in someone's head for whatever this song should be. What does this song need? What has been done with this song before, and what can we do differently besides just make it a cappella that would be
So
interesting to a listener.
am I understanding correctly that when you say you lead it or Ellie leads it, are you telling me that they all do it from conception to post-production as well? Like that's their project then?
That's correct. Like, for example, if you look
Wow.
at like Valhalla Calling. Well, I think Valhalla Calling might have been. I don't know if you've seen it. I know you're a reactor, so I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
But that one was an outlier because I think Lane and Ellie collaborated on that.
Okay.
But like Seven Nation Army, I took that from beginning to end. That was
Wow.
concept arrangement, set, costuming, like you name it. Like it's
Wow.
yeah.
I
We
did
do it all
not know
in-house.
that.
Yeah.
That in and of itself is fascinating, but usually within a group, there's like the one person who's like the techie person, there's the other who's the arranger, there's the other who's like the editor, and you're saying that like you guys, each of you, from start to finish, like that's your baby. That's incredible.
Yeah. It used to be more like that, but what happened was we started doing so much stuff, and that person was Lane. Like I was always arranging, but I didn't really know the ins and outs of audio or video production. And
Yeah.
so Lane would have to do almost everything. And we started doing
Wow.
so much that he's just like, I can't keep up. So I had to like jump in and learn, like so sink or swim, I guess.
Wow.
And then from that point, it's just kind of been a thing we all got into. Necessity.
So what did you have to learn that you didn't know?
Well, I had to learn like multi-camera editing. So I had to learn. I use Final Cut, which is an Apple program. I use Final Cut. I use Logic Pro to do all my production. Lane was a real. He got us kickstarted in our video world. We started making videos like seriously around 2012, and
Okay.
he always had the vision that like this is gonna be a good idea one day. And I was like,
Wow.
no, it's not. We're going to be doing live shows to the day we die. And then guess what? The pandemic happened, and it was a good thing we had our YouTube channel because that kept us afloat during all of the shutdown of
Wow.
everything. Yeah.
Was it the pandemic where you saw the biggest spike, or what was the year or the song or the cover where you felt like, okay, now Lane was right, like this was a good idea?
Yeah, it took a couple of years because we kind of used our YouTube videos as marketing for our live show, and
Sure.
we toured a lot. But then we hit. I want to say it was. I think our first big hit was Phantom of the Opera with Rachel Potter, and that
So
like
good.
exploded on Facebook of all places.
Yeah. Interesting.
And then after that, we had. I think our Moana medley did really
Oh my gosh,
well.
I loved that.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
And then after
Who
that,
led that one?
Lane.
Did he?
And
Okay,
what's
wow.
funny about that is that we kind of fought against it because I was like, we're so late to this party. Moana came out a year ago. Why are we
Yeah,
releasing
yeah.
this now? But then it worked. So you just never
I
really
think-
know.
I think people had like enough of a break of it,
Mm-hmm.
like it was such a huge hit, and then everybody was doing it, and then people got a chance to like have a palate cleanse.
Yeah.
And then you guys came out with that, and it was like, oh yeah, I really do love that song so much, and they did it in such an interesting way.
Yeah, it's a really
you
fun.
know?
It's a really fun track.
I love that Lane had the vision early on, and even in spite of maybe you not seeing it,
Mm-hmm.
and yet the will and the desire for him to still push that initiative, and now looking back, you're like, wow, I'm so glad that we continued.
Yeah, we all benefited from his persistence for sure. He's
That's so
a
good.
very stubborn dude in a good way.
In a great way, absolutely. Well, that's tenacity, that's grit, tenacity, and drive, and we always say at the studio, like, practice makes awesome. It may not be perfect, but if you continue to do what you're setting out to do, you're going to improve. There will be incremental levels of greatness and improvement.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they say, like an overnight success takes years to make.
Absolutely.
Very similar. Like you just have to keep grinding away, and one day, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe. So once you find a song, like you guys talked about your process and how one guy leads it, I'm sure this would be the same. Like the guy that's leading it would be doing these things. But what is the the kind of terms and conditions you guys have for arranging it. You said that in other little snippets I've heard you say that like you start at the rhythm, but what does that mean? Like, does it mean BPMs? Does it mean beat? How do you decide and arrange the song? What's your process there?
I think it's different for each of us. I know Lane comes from. I can kind of give you this insight. So Lane comes from a very remixy background. He did dance remixes for like if you go to the gym and they have like their tracks there that they play. It's stuff you're hearing. It's like pop music that's kind of like it's all at 120 or 140, just driving, four on the floor.
Four on the floor, yeah.
Yeah, so he did a lot of that for years, and that kind of informs his arranging style at this point.
I see. Okay.
So he kind of leans into more like, I want to say like electronic sounding pop. Okay. My style tends to be a little more relaxed, I think. And then I'm always looking for like what's going to make this different. And sometimes that's changing the tempo, changing the feel, changing the chord structures. Sometimes you have like a 2-chord or a 3-chord song and you make it a 4, 5, 6-chord song that repeats.
Yeah, fair.
Always looking to like substitute harmonies and play with where people expect the lead to go. We have such good singers. Like Ellie is such a fantastic singer, and if you give him a melody, he'll change it in a really great way. We've been working with Anthony Gargiulo a lot, and he's similar, just like a freak. DJ Young, who is on tour with, is he still on tour with Hamilton? He's still on tour with Hamilton right now.
Okay.
And just like riffs for days, but like beautifully done, tasteful stuff. Like so we've been very fortunate in being able to not only create arrangements that are interesting and different, but also feature great singers who can take those arrangements and really make them shine. Because at the end of the day, it's like the melody, the lead, the message that's coming across is the most important thing.
For sure. I agree with you on that, for sure. How do you decide on harmony parts? Like, is it hard to hold back from doing too many? I mean, like you said, you guys are all beasts, and then you have these collaborators who are also super uber talented. Like, how do you avoid harmony creep, so to speak?
I don't know. I can't say for sure that we've not fallen into that trap. I will say that the majority of our finished tracks, if you were to listen to them on Spotify, are not strictly 5 voices. There's usually a 6th harmony creeping in there, sometimes more. We like to stack things. Right. I mean, obviously, like we're up against, ear-friendly, radio-ready pop music.
Right.
So we do multi-track
Sure.
as much as we can. Things are doubled, tripled sometimes. I know,
Yeah.
like when Lane does drums, it's like he will do a pass of the drum live and then quantize it so it's all locked to a tempo. But then he'll go back in and add like 40 more tracks of drums just to fill it out. Yeah. So
that's crazy. Yeah, I'm a harmony geek, and I'm a huge stacking fan in the studio also. Like, the more stacks, the better, the fuller the sound. Because like you said, yes, you are up against that perfectly sparkly, mastered, radio-ready pop sound, right? That we all compete with, that bubblegum sound. So are there any songs that in your song selection that you guys have wanted to do, but maybe were they too complex, or did they not fit stylistically with the confines of a cappella music?
There have been a couple. I know we struggled with what's the song that Lane just did a song. He arranged this song. It's a song by Shaggy called "It Wasn't Me."
Oh my gosh, I love that song.
Oh, it's a great song. It's got such a great melody. But and not that it was about it, because it's a brilliant arrangement and so much fun. But we felt like we couldn't record it and release it because of the context of the song and everything that's happening in the world right now. It's like, when this was written, this may have been okay. But I can't entirely be sure that this would go over well today. So that would be
Right.
like one example of something. The other one I would say was we did "Carry On Wayward Son,"
Oh,
and that one is so guitar heavy that we had a lot of back and forth about how we were going to make that work because the bootin'
interesting.
doo doo bootin' doo doo
Yeah.
doo doo that whole thing is
Right.
guitars, and like how do you do that with voices without making it sound cheesy or strange or unlistenable? And
Wow.
I think,
That's a really good point.
yeah, I think Ellie did a good job threading that needle because that was
Wow.
his project.
I can hear how initially when you hear the carry on my wayward, it's like, oh, perfect acapella song because you can hear all the harmonies in that
Hmm.
line, right? But then you're right. Right after that is this
It's
long
like, now what do I do?
guitar riff.
I'm
Right,
lost in the
right.
sauce. Where's my guitar
Yes.
player? Yeah, exactly.
So true. And then, you could add guitar, but then it wouldn't be voice play. It
Correct.
wouldn't be
Yeah.
what people expect.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered just like blowing the whole thing up and one day adding a guitar and like just blowing people's minds?
Oh yeah, I mean we've added violin to a couple things,
Uh-huh.
and we are not afraid to add like little bits and baubles within the track that are not strictly speaking a cappella. Like a lot of them tend to be like if we're in a certain setting, they will tend to be like atmospheric sounds, like something you would expect to be in that world that we've created,
Right. Yeah, makes
especially like a
sense.
lot of the post-apocalyptic style things that we do.
Yes.
But yeah, we would totally do guitar, piano, uh, what have you.
Just to shake it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd do it. Why
So
not?
your song choices though tend to be, I think, from like older songs, like "Man of Constant Sorrow." Your most
Hmm.
recent release was first released in 1928. Like that's crazy. 16 Tons,
Yep.
1950. It was released. Ghostwriters, 1940s, I think.
Yes.
So why do you think you tend to lean towards like the older songs?
For me personally,
Yeah, yeah.
well,
For your channel.
I try to listen to what people are asking for. And
Okay.
so a lot of those bass solos, I want to say notorious, those famous bass songs, they're
Yeah.
just older. They just are.
Interesting.
Big Bad John, Ghost Riders in the Sky, 16 Tons. God, there's been so many at this point, I can't even name them all.
Right, right.
So yeah, they tend to be older songs, and think I think my audience really likes that style of music and whatever crazy spin I decide to put on it. Like I get a lot of requests for like Old Man River, believe it or not.
I can so see
And
that.
I'm like, well, I would love to do that song, but once again, I'm not sure I can get away with
Right.
that. But it's a beautiful song.
I
There's
think you can, Jeff.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I think you can. I think you can. I really do. I mean, what? That's something that so bothers me about where we are right now, just as a society, is like that thing. Why does that have to be a thought of thing? Why can't you just sing a song that's highly requested?
Well, you know, I don't I don't know that we can go down that road, Tara.
Yeah.
I think smarter minds than us have tried, and
Yeah.
I'm just gonna steer clear. There's plenty of other music out there. If it ever gets to a point where I'm gonna decide to do that one, I'll let you know, and then we'll
Okay.
figure it out.
Well, in your defense and in the song's defense, I think you'd sound great in it, but I understand where you're coming from there. And you're right. I mean, there's a plethora of songs to choose from for sure. Aside from a cappella music, what is your favorite musical genre?
Ooh, that's tough.
I
I
know,
don't
it's like
know.
choosing children.
I think like I should just open up my Spotify and see what I listen to mostly, but I think the artist I listen to most is maybe Phineas. I don't know if you know. I don't
Oh,
know if you know
of course. Yeah.
Billy's brother
Yeah.
Phineas. And maybe secondly, Weezer. Do you know the band
Interesting.
Weezer?
Of course. Yeah,
Greatest rock band of
absolutely.
all time. I don't care what anybody
Okay.
says.
I don't care what
They're the
anybody says.
best.
You heard it, guys,
No.
right here on Truth to Terra, greatest rock band of all time, Weezer.
Hmm.
Okay, and so like you're kind of like a rocker guy then.
So I mean, I listen to a lot of stuff. I listen to a
Yeah.
lot of old jazz.
Okay.
And I also listen to, I mean, yeah, you name it. It just depends on what mood I'm in, you know. Like I also listen to like a lot of instrumental stuff. Um, do you know Olafur Arnolds? Olafur Arnolds. Do you know him?
No, actually, I don't.
He's a composer. You should look him up. He's beautiful pianist and composer.
Like in the classical kind of
Well, yeah, but he does like a
lane?
lot of like soundtrack stuff. Like you've
Oh,
probably
okay.
heard
Cinematic.
his, yes, exactly. You've
I'm
probably
sure.
heard his
Okay.
material and not known it.
Probably. I do love cinematic music. I'm also really bad with names, so I don't forget a song. I do forget the name,
Sure.
which is terrible.
Easy to
but
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So are there any other like YouTubers or artists that you would ever want to collab with going along that vein of what you love?
For me, man, that's really hard. I mean, there's probably a lot, but I mean, it would be cool to like play with Lindsey Sterling. That'd be dope.
Yes. Yes.
I know everybody wants me to do a thing with like Avi and Tim.
Of course.
Avi from Pentatonics and Tim from
Yeah,
Home
of
Free.
course.
But like we've talked about it, but I think at least the thing that I keep coming back to is like when you combine voices like that are so similar. Like I'm afraid that it's going to take away the specialness of each one of us. Does that
Because
make
there's like just
'cause
so
there's-
many bass notes.
Yeah, because there's no contrast to like even it out.
Right.
You want your ear to be able to compare the registers of
Interesting.
what's going on, the sonic quality. Yeah, but they both have
That's true.
beautiful voices.
But you mentioned Lindsey Sterling. You could do something to where it's you guys plus someone else,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a different higher singer or an instrumentalist that does break it up, and then you guys have separate parts and maybe come together quickly
Sure.
at one or two places. That would be cool. I mean, it's kind of like the perfect trifecta, and I get why people would want to hear that.
Yes.
Like if one is good, three's got to be even
right,
better.
yeah, more is better always.
Always.
And it might
always.
be. It might be. It's just my own personal like nervousness that might make that go the other direction. But
Sure.
that's just me.
And I can imagine it's also really difficult coordinating like schedules. Like I had Kevin from PTX on here,
Yeah.
and it was like 6 months trying to between my schedule and mostly his, trying to like figure that out.
He's like the nicest guy.
I love him.
He's the
so
best.
much.
And super talented. Holy cow.
So talented, and I love his story. He just kind of fell into Pentatonics,
Mm-hmm.
and he has with a friend of his, co-host Donovan, an amazing podcast as well called
Oh, I didn't
Imagine
know that.
Faith Talks.
Cool.
Yeah, most people don't. It's actually so amazing, and they talk about such important things. So shout out to them, and really like you said, just an amazing human being.
Yeah,
With
definitely.
an awesome story. Did you know that Scott reached out to him through Facebook Messenger to join Pentatonics?
I think I knew there was something like that. I wasn't aware that it was Facebook Messenger.
Yeah,
But
Facebook
that's funny.
Messenger.
I'm
I know.
surprised that he replied.
He said he almost didn't. I think.
Yeah, like,
it was
who's
like, is
this
this
guy?
a joke? Right, exactly. And that's kind of the stuff that I love to hear. Like, is it true? Actually, I'm going to ask is it true question for you. Is it true that like some of your first gigs as VoicePlay, you got paid in pizza?
Oh yeah, yeah. And
Really?
in fact, we probably didn't even get paid at all. Like if we got pizza, we were lucky.
Oh my
I mean, we're talking
gosh.
like we've been singing since '98 or '99. So like we would sing for free. We sang for bagels, pizza.
Oh my gosh.
We couldn't even sing for beer because we weren't old enough yet.
Oh my gosh! Because you
yeah.
started this in middle school, right? You guys?
Well, we didn't. We started in high school, but we've
Okay.
known each other. A lot of us have known each other since middle school.
Wow. So
Yeah.
going to the same school.
Yep.
And friends that love to sing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of, to be honest, especially at that age, that's kind of a really rare thing for boys
Yeah.
to find it cool enough to like share with other boys that they sing and then to do something about it and create a group. Like, I feel like that's very rare.
It is, and in fact, I wasn't. I mentioned that I was in chorus, but I wasn't. I was in chorus in middle school with Lane, and
Yeah.
I wasn't going to join in high school because my piano teacher was like, you have to go into the band. And I was like, okay, what should I play? She's like, well, play something with a double reed. And I was like, oh, God, bless. So I was going to play, I forget what I was going to play, clarinet maybe? Or, and that was going to be oboe. It was going to be oboe.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I'm going to play oboe. And then Lane was like, dude, come be in chorus. Come be in chorus with me. And then I talked to my piano teacher, and she's like, yeah, go sing if you want to sing. So then I went and joined chorus, and that's the end of that story. So I never got to play the oboe.
I don't think you're missing a whole lot out of life in that, really. Look at what you've done.
You don't know. I mean, who knows? It could have gone in a whole different direction.
You could have been an oboe superstar.
Yeah. think about all the famous oboe players you know.
And the money that they're making.
Just tons. Just hand over fist.
Wrong turn. Yeah. Wrong turn, Geoff. Wrong turn.
Next time.
I love that, though, that you guys have been in it for so long. Now, this is kind of like more of an interpersonal question, but like, how do you guys deal, and have there ever been issues with like personality clashes or like, you know, even just scheduling amongst you guys, and growing up, like high school, knowing each other from middle school to high school, and the minutia of the relationship part of being in a group. How's that gone? How do you guys navigate conflict? What advice do you have for anybody else in a group?
Ooh. Well, we weren't always great at it. But I think over the year, I think from jump, we always looked at it as a business.
That's awesome.
It was always fun, but it was always like, this is a business first. And we tried to take things, we tried not to take things personally.
Keep the emotion out of it.
Yeah, and it's tough because when you work, like I've mentioned, we generally take one project from beginning to end. So when you work on something, you're doing an arrangement, and it takes you a week, 2 weeks to do, and then you send out the demo, and then the feedback you get is, this is a good start, keep going. And you're like, I've already spent 40 hours on this. What else? So like your instinct is to like throw something and, you know, flame them in all capitals on Slack. But you fight that urge, and over the years, you know, that stab in your heart gets less and less and less and less. And you're like, oh, whatever. It's just another piece of content, and it's not a big deal. And if it needs more work, I'll just work on it. You know, so that's one piece of the puzzle, is just getting desensitized to feedback from your peers, for sure. And if you can win that battle, then the rest of it comes a lot. Because if you don't take things so personally, then it's just like, then it is just business. It's like, oh yeah, we ultimately want the best product, we want the best video, we want the best recording that we can make within our means. So how do we get there? And arguing isn't going to get that done. So so we try not to.
I think the edging out the ego, keeping humility, and like you said, the only way to really do that is to consider it a business, because when you say it's business, there is some sort of flip that switches as best as you can. But man, that week of work, getting a good start, that stings.
It's like, maybe you could have said that a little nicer.
Right. Do you know what I've been doing the past week? Holed up in this room, and you're like, good start.
That sounds really nice. What a cute start this is. Ooh. Can you give us the real arrangement now?
Ooh, that stings.
But we've all gone
you all
through
better.
That. What's that?
I bet that's made you all better, though.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like that iron sharpening iron.
Yep.
If you personally, Geoff, like couldn't sing starting tomorrow, it's never going to happen, by the way. But what would you do? What would you want to do?
I don't know. Like I feel like it would still be something in video or audio. Like I still love, if I couldn't sing the music, I would probably still arrange or produce.
Okay.
But then like I have this other side of me that really wants to get like I'm enamored with food YouTubers. Like it's like
Really?
all I watch, and like in my heart of hearts, that's really what I want to do. Is I want to have a food YouTube.
Really?
Oh yeah,
That's fascinating.
yeah. I'm such a food nerd.
Like all sorts of culinary experiences, or a certain like type of food, or what? This is exciting to me.
Yeah. I mean, I love it all. I'm not super into
Wow.
like seafood,
Okay.
but I appreciate it. I respect seafood.
Do you
Yeah.
like
So like
gastronomy?
in my what's that?
Do you like gastronomy? I'm obsessed with that. Like
Yeah,
food
I mean that's like a
gastronomy.
whole other thing. Like you got to be
Yeah,
a little
I know.
to understand all that. But yeah, I mean I have like sodium citrate and xanthan gum and like I have all these things. I have the pink salt. Oh
Really?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We cure our own stuff. Yeah, I could like live off grid. It'd be totally fine. I've made my own
Wow.
yogurt before.
Jeff,
Yeah.
you are so domesticated for
I
being so
my
talented.
dad always said I was gonna make somebody a good wife one day.
Oh my gosh. Well, Kathy's a lucky woman. Are
She
you the
is.
one who cooks in the house?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I find it very
Really?
relaxing, and
I do
it
too.
stresses her out. But I'm like,
Oh my
no, this is fine.
gosh.
I enjoy it.
Do you also like the grocery shopping? Because
I do.
I find that some really,
I
I do
love it.
too.
It's my favorite.
It's very therapeutic,
Hmm,
right? To
hmm.
look at the ingredients and like peruse and
Yeah, all this stuff
yes.
where like people are doing, what's it like, Instacart or Shipped.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Yeah.
it's not for me. I need to go. I
Right.
need to go touch my pears.
I need to squeeze the melon. I
Yep.
agree completely. And they never pick the right ones, by
No.
the way. They're always half rotten, or like the bananas have too many black dots on them, and it's bad.
Yeah, I mean they're just trying.
But
They're just trying to get it done. I understand.
literally, it's
Yeah,
true. So getting back, because we digress, you recently started posting shorts on your channel.
I did.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How do you think shorts and TikTok are going to change music? How music's consumed, and the types of music that may be composed, and why did you start posting shorts?
I wish I had an answer for that. I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah.
I think
Speculate for me.
I think it's a wonderful discovery platform.
Yeah.
TikTok especially, whatever they've done, however you feel about TikTok, as because I know there's like a lot of political stuff
Yes.
about TikTok right now.
Right.
However you feel about it, it is a wonderful discovery platform, and I've benefited from TikTok. I know VoicePlay has benefited from TikTok. There are people on there that I know everybody knows and loves that you would not have found without TikTok.
Yep. It's so true.
And YouTube, I think, did the smart thing by trying to incorporate that into their platform, and it's just gotten better and better and better and better.
Yep.
And the thing that they're doing really well that TikTok isn't doing is they're enabling creators to share in the ad revenue, and they're being very transparent about
Yes.
it, which is like thumbs
Yes.
up to YouTube. Thank you, YouTube, for doing that.
Definitely.
So I think the thing about there's two different kinds of content, right? Like you have your long form, more produced content, and I think you can get away with doing a less produced, raw thing in a short form. They will forgive you for 30 seconds if you're just singing something in the air or
That's true. That's true. You're right. Yeah.
or just like so it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be like that final polished product when it's only
Yeah.
30 or 45 seconds for a short or for a TikTok. And some of those TikToks
right.
are only like 7 seconds. They're so short.
I know. So short. And I think people do that too, because the shorter it is, the more chance they have of the revolving view, to get
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
200% viewership.
Yep.
It's a trick too.
For sure.
And hey,
Yeah.
nice work if you've got it, right? Do you find that you're getting like a lot more views on shorts than your long format, or is it kind of comparable? Were you surprised by that?
No, I don't think I'm getting about what I expected in the
Yeah.
shorts. Yeah, the things on YouTube are not. They're doing exactly what I thought they would do, which is like
Nice.
tens of thousands of views instead of hundreds of thousands of views. But I'm not putting a ton of effort into them. It's like I sit down for 10 minutes and I go, what am I going to say?
Right.
Let me do this, blah, 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 and then it's out. And it's great. And if somebody new sees it
Yeah.
and they like it, that's an extra subscriber that I've gotten. Maybe somebody's going to listen to my Spotify channel or find me on
Right.
Facebook or TikTok or wherever else, or find VoicePlay
Right.
next, and that's all beneficial.
Oh, of course, of course. So you find that your long format is still kind of king.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so interesting. I think it's different, and it differs between channels. Like ever since Shorts came out for me personally,
Mm-hmm.
I have gotten so many more subscribers and views from Shorts than my long format, and it was almost like an instantaneous flip. It was so strange.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I'm doing the same content in the same way, if not better, than I was before, because I've upped my game in editing, and I don't edit my own stuff by the way, but I've upped my game with the editor I use, and it's incredible to me how like Shorts can get in the millions,
Yeah.
like that, and then a certain video I'm like, oh, this is going to be a great long form video, gets 10K in the first day or something super like way more low than I was used to pre-Shorts.
Well, I think,
And
yeah, I
kind
think
of leaning into it.
I think part of the thing that I didn't mention is like your barrier to entry. Like if you see a video and it's 10 minutes long, you're probably not as likely to click on that as if you are something that's like 15 seconds. You're like, oh, it's 15
Right.
seconds, I'll watch that. And then it just,
Exactly.
if it's good, then they'll just keep going down that rabbit hole.
Yes, like you said, I think you explained it perfectly, that the mechanism behind Shorts and TikTok is a great platform for discovery. And if someone likes what you have to say or what content you're releasing, then they may subscribe and like consume your longer format
Correct.
content
Yeah.
more. But it's interesting that even with Shorts and TikTok, your views for long format are still really high, and the Shorts are kind of acting as a supplemental discovery platform.
Yes. And the other thing that, well, for me, especially because what I'm doing is music videos, and I don't really do anything else. I mean, there are a couple other things on the channel, but it's mostly music videos, and those push right over to like Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music, all those things. So for me, it's way more beneficial to have people watching the music videos and enjoying those rather than doing something else that doesn't necessarily lead to more like what's the word I'm looking for, royalty revenue on the
Yes.
streaming side of things.
Sure, for sure. But I think that's smart, because when people go to something on YouTube, they want to know that they're going to get what they want. And because you're really consistent with the type of content you release, people know, like, if I go to his channel, this is what I'm going to get.
Yeah.
And that's probably why you still have such high views on your long format, because they know what to expect and they get what they want. Like, that's what the thumbnail is. That's what I get when I click.
Yes, at least I hope so. At least that's the plan. Hopefully that's
That's what
working
you're
out.
doing.
Right.
Oh, it's definitely working out. And actually, I would say that like most of my channel's been built on reactions, right? And I've had the pleasure of reacting to you as a solo artist and to you in VoicePlay. And I don't know which one I'm a bigger fan of, to be honest with you, because I'm such a Harmony geek.
You don't
but
have to choose.
It's true, actually. Equal fanship across the board. But listening to you as a solo artist is also so satisfying as a listener, to be able to hear all of those nuanced things in your voice that as a vocal coach I listen for and love. But I actually have a bit of a surprise for you. I've been fighting strep like the last month, and I woke up like barely able to talk today. And as I started warming up my voice, I was literally like, bopping around in my house, in my robe, walking my dog, and I hit these ungodly low notes, like low notes that I've never hit before. And I would just want to do a fun little exercise. Would you react to me singing these low notes and tell me what you think?
Yes. Are you sure?
I'm sure. I have to. I mean, I cannot pass up this opportunity.
All right, let's do it.
So, okay, I'm gonna now again.
Should I get in my
warning.
bathrobe first before we
Could you?
do this?
It'd make me feel a lot better. Moral support. Because low key, I'm literally like, I've rolled out of bed. There's bed head. There's all of these things. So, okay, this was the one that I did in my house. Here we go. I can't believe I'm showing this to everybody, but it's for a good cause. All right, here we go. Are you ready? Can you see it? I'm gonna put it next to the mic so you
that's
can
a good
hear.
that's a good look for you right there.
Can we not just go past the looks? Just listen. Close your eyes. Listen.
Baby, lock them doors and turn the lights down low.
If I didn't know, I would say you were like a 2-pack-a-day smoker in your 80s when you
And maybe a man.
Yeah. Like who is this? Who is this octogenarian singing Josh Turner right now?
Octogenarian. Oh my gosh. Okay, here's the one of me outside. All right. This is instead of starting low, I get down low. Okay. What are your thoughts on this? I think this is even lower.
And it keeps marching on. Oh my gosh.
You sound so healthy.
I sound so healthy.
What great vocal technique you have. That's amazing.
Did you like the drop jaw?
I did.
That was
great.
It was. Oh my gosh. That was an F sharp. What 2? I believe if I am counting my octaves correctly.
Sure. Why not? I mean,
I feel like
it's low as hell. You should not be able to do that.
I feel like you've got some competition, Geoff.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it. That's great.
Oh my God. So Geoff, other than wanting to collab with me because of my amazing low notes,
you're on the list for sure.
Thank you. The short one, right?
Yes,
the short list.
Short list.
Okay, fantastic. Well, for people that just love you and want more of you, where can we find more of you? Shout out your channels and all of those things. Because guys, if you're not subscribed to Geoff and you're watching this, you better not click off without doing so.
That's right. Or do. Either way is fine. No pressure. Yeah, so you can find me singing with VoicePlay, and that's VoicePlay. Search for that on Google. It will come up. And then you can find my solo stuff. It's a hard name to spell. So Geoff Castellucci. It's Geoff with a G. Geoff.
Yep.
Castellucci. Castellucci. And if you click on any VoicePlay stuff, my name is usually in the description somewhere. Yeah. So you can find it like that too. And we're everywhere. We're Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any streaming platform you can think of, YouTube. We're there.
Yeah, you're taking the world by storm, and a very Italian, beautiful last name, by the way, albeit a little hard to spell.
It is hard to spell.
So, okay, last question, Geoff, before we go. 5 years from now, where do you want to be as an artist? Where do you guys want to be as VoicePlay?
Oh man,
last one,
5 years from now. I have a question for you though. Now I don't know if you know this question, but do you know how old we are?
I know that you were born in 1980. You're like
okay,
4
so you
years
do
older
know.
than me.
Okay. So this is the experiment that we're all playing together because none of this internet stuff was around for our parents, right?
Yeah.
So the thing that the 3-4 of us talk about all the time is like, how long is anybody going to keep watching us? Because our audience is also getting older, and
true.
So it's like, are we still interesting? I don't know. So 5 years from now, I think we'd like to still be doing exactly what we're doing, just at a higher level.
Okay.
Whether or not that's possible, we'll all find out together. If not, I mean, I think we're all very happy with what we've done so far, with where we've gotten to. I mean, 1 million plus subscribers on YouTube.
So awesome.
Almost twice that many on Facebook. We're damn near 1 million on TikTok, which I never thought would happen because, once again, we are so old and it's a very young person's platform. So like all these things that we never thought would happen have happened, and we're like, well, check.
Right.
I guess we could, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I'm happy with the way things have gone. But I hope I don't get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Me too, definitely. And I
appreciate
know
that.
You're not going to lose your voice tomorrow too. None of those things are happening, but it's good to have a plan, and it's also good to be realistic about the times and where you are. But to be honest, I think that goodness always wins, and sonic undeniability of goodness always wins, regardless of the age. And I think we're hopefully just with like even on AGT and the talent competitions, you've had people like Susan Boyle. I mean, freak of nature talent who don't look the part, are not the age of the part, and who are just good, and people still are fans.
Right.
And you guys are handsome guys. You've got it going on. You've got a ton of time. And I hope that music transcends age. Like I really always hope that good guy wins.
Yeah.
And so I think you just keep pushing and pushing the envelope of sonic undeniability in regards to goodness. And I do believe there's always going to be a fan base for that.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. We would also like to start doing some other things that aren't necessarily strictly musical. Because I mean we've got some pretty crazy ideas. We worked on this for a year. We worked on a we were in pre-production to do a sitcom, believe it or not. And
I don't.
oh
That
yeah,
sounds so cool.
yeah, we sat in a writing room every week for a year, and it made it just so far, and then it was like, well, we're just going to shelve this project.
Wait, you guys shelved it, or
We
who
didn't. No,
shelved
no,
it?
no. We didn't. The people that were the investors
Oh my
shelved it. I
gosh.
mean, these things happen all the time, you know.
They do, but dang.
But yeah, so we've had a lot of like little brushes with greatness like that didn't quite make it out. But we'd like
Oh
to
my
do
gosh,
some more creative things that aren't
Yeah.
necessarily. We have to figure out like how do we do that with the limited amount of time that we have to get things done.
That is always the thing, right? You got to keep this machine going and perpetuate that, but leave enough time for newness as well. I mean, you guys truly, that makes so much sense to me now that you said it though, because you really are great actors as well. Like you own the characters that you immerse yourself, like the costume design and all of that. You know, the lighting, the state. It's so good.
We fooled you. We did it.
You really did. You really did.
Right.
And so I think a sitcom would be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it might have been. We'll never know.
You
Maybe
could still
one
write
day.
one on your own. Get in the writer's room, just you four.
Yeah.
And push that and then pitch it.
Yeah. Could happen.
the time you
Stranger
don't
things.
have.
Stranger things have happened for sure.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on today, Geoff. It was a blessing to me to get to spend some time with you, get to know you. And guys, if you're not a fan of Geoff Castellucci, you're missing out. He's with VoicePlay. He's got an amazing channel on his own. Check him out, subscribe to him, support his music. And thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Bye.